Okay, I'm going to speed up. So I Love Wind Power does two things, field projects and technology projects. I'm going to also spend some time talking about the field projects because it is my feeling that the problems that we face or encounter in the field, we try to find technical solutions from them. So first we want to hear from the field what goes wrong, and from that try to find so I'm going to spend a little bit of time on field projects. We have a few field projects, but I'll only discuss two. Mali, first one we started in 2008. Brazil, that's the youngest one. I had the privilege to, together with Gal Cesar, to go over there and start up that project 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Yeah. But starting with Mali, basically the setup is I got a Dutch team in Holland based. We're responsible for technological dissemination, knowledge dissemination, funding, stuff like that. And then we have a partner organization who's based in Mali, Yvonne and Baba. The organization is called Around Baba. And yeah, Yvonne is like the mother of the project and hosts it on a daily basis, and faces all the other non-technical issues like yeah, cultural differences and stuff like that. We did a business model study with all the parameters that we could find. There are of course a lot of unknowns, and so I'm really happy to share that with everybody, and also have everybody's input, what they think is good and bad of it. But basically what we have figured out now is that we can already beat gasoline in Mali. And Mali is a low wind speed region. Actually, we're going to set up a wind measurement campaign to find out exactly what the wind is. But with the figures, the data we have right now, we can beat gasoline. And with gasoline, I mean the rural gasoline stuff. We cannot beat solar, and I don't think from an economical viability case that we are going to beat solar, because the tendency is that solar is getting cheaper and cheaper. However, our main goal is not to be the cheapest, but to empower the people at the same time. If a blade breaks off, a Malian person can make the blade again. So if you look at the life cycle times and you go into that kind of studies, yeah. And we cannot beat the grid, so we only plan to put them in rural areas. This is a group of people, 10 people, 5 to give an idea of the level of education. 5 of them cannot read and write. They can make a wind turbine, but they cannot read and write. Here you see them working. They like to work with their own tools. Maybe something nice to share. I learned this from Leila, from Solar Med 4 years ago. We paint the tips blue. After a while, we can visually check from the ground if they start becoming white again. If they start becoming white again, you know, hey, the tip is starting to erode, maybe I need to protect it. So these little simple things, you know, you can already also enhance the detectability, which I think is also a very important design parameter, if everything goes well or not. I made a special manual. I spent almost 1.5 years learning making these drawings. But I did it like IKEA or Lego. So step 1, step 2, step 3, picture 1, picture 2, picture 3. My French is very bad, and half of them can only speak Bambara, the local African language. But just pointing la la la, not even touching one tool, this group was able to make such a wind turbine in 2 weeks' time. They know how to weld, they know how to do wood crafting. I also give workshops to students, but these people can do better all the skills of handcraft than I can do. So that was really amazing to see how that worked. Some problems that we have, the tools, they're not the latest in the world. Supply chain issues, so it's hard to get the right materials. We have sandstorms and lightning strikes. There are 20 times more lightning strikes than in Holland. We had a volunteer there who stayed for 1 year, and he has serious concerns regarding the wind speed there. Well, Mali is now in conflict, and 2 years ago they had a military coup. And still rumbly. Yeah, and Ebola. It's of course a very serious issue. Me as a Westerner don't know exactly how dangerous it is, but I'm from nature a very scared person, so when I'm in doubt I don't go. But yeah, it's amazing how bad it can be for a country. Also, they also had droughts, stuff like that. It's yeah. So the solutions that we're going to do is we actually planned to go with Christmas to Mali, but we cancelled, basically because we don't feel safe. So to tackle this problem, the way that we go forward for the Mali project is that we're going to do a very, very strong focus on making manuals, making animations, making videos, maybe even making little skills, to see if we can make education, we can make it such in digestible steps that even they can pick it up, learning from distance, so via Skype and stuff like that. So that's going to be the strong focus. We're going to put a few animal meters there. It's always very hard, I think, to find a funder who wants to sponsor for a MedMask campaign. They all want to sponsor, a wind turbine for a school. But when you say, I want to know exactly what the wind data is, and also knowing that it's, you see a lot of projects that they start out in wind regimes that are very low. If money was not an issue, I would say first start to measure as soon as possible and then continue. And technology, I'll come back to the supply chain issue in a bit. I'm going to skip the other one during time. But in Brazil, this is our youngest project. It's here in Montes Claros. 2 years ago with the Rio Plus 20, I was invited by my company to play Media Muppet over there for a big bag of money. With that big bag of money, Miguel and Matthias Craig went over. And Gael hosted a workshop, which is, you could already fill a whole presentation with that. But actually this project survived. Second workshop started in Montes Claros. We worked together with a capoeira master guy who who's been there in a local NGO for more than 3 decades, so we feel really good, committed that we can work together. Same setup as Mali. Really nice. One of our technology projects is going into wooden towers. For a long time I was thinking, okay, what is the most optimal tower? And then I discovered there is no such thing as an optimal tower. It is very much dependent on the local supply chain of that region where you are, what will come up with the best and robust tower. For Mali, it looks like wood would actually be the best option. We did some calculations, also taking the cost into account. We think if you go for a 12-meter tower, we can be 50% cheaper than steel tower. And this is purely based on the fact that it's very hard to get like gas tubes in Mali. So if you actually find somebody, and if you're in a hurry, and everything below 3 weeks is in a hurry, you pay high prices for it. So the more that you can specialize customize on the local supply chain on that country, the cheaper you can get your whole system. So 2 more minutes to run through it. I work in the big wind industry. So I try to involve all my friends. Within the big wind industry, we have so-called solution owners. That's like we now have like find a specialist. Within internal in the company, we have like yellow pages. So if I want to know something about lightning protection, I can quite easily find the guy about lightning protection. And also with one step still at the university at TU Delft, I speak to all the professors over there, and students like it. Instead of writing reports and making only calculations, they also like to actually build stuff. So there's a whole win-win situation in that sense. We had a student working on generator modeling, but after seeing this presentation of Katerina, I think, it's so advanced what you already have been doing that we might even have to see if we're going to push this one through, because it's not going by natural anyways. But I see that a lot of people are also playing with Arduino. For low-budget SCADA systems, we hope to make a low-budget SCADA system with GPRS. We don't go for Wi-Fi, but for GPRS, because in Mali, for instance, we see a lot that for the turbines there, GPRS makes more sense. You put a SIM card in there and you have a better reach. Marco, he will come in 1 hour. He's a bit delayed. Just SMS, he will come. He's doing a whole full measurement and benchmarking with stuff, so that he will do a presentation of that. Joost, he lives basically in this wind tunnel. He just finished his PhD. This is the OJF. I also recognize it with the NIL. And I got somebody, Manuel Almeida, from the big wind turbine company that I work for. And he's a guru in simulations and setting up that kind of stuff. So together with 4 students from TU Delft, he's building a model in FAST. FAST is an aeroelastic code that has been certified by Germanischer Lloyd. And what we want to do, I mean, there are many simulation codes, also people here in the room that are working on that. And the thing that we want to do with this is really, till the bare bone, validate it with the wind tunnel. Towers. I have some friends of mine, they don't like wind turbines, but they love towers. So yeah, they're working on, we have a whole bunch of structural engineers that also spend their evenings and weekends and nights looking on towers. And towers are important because they're very expensive. And they, of course, need to be robust and reliable, otherwise serious accidents can happen. So that's my presentation. Sorry for the delay.